Wilson Morales from Black Women TV talking to Oscar winner Matthew A. Cherry regarding his series Young Love, which is currently playing on Max. How's it going?
Doing good, man. Good, always good to talk to you, man.
You know, you got this off. I like to say whenever you get a passion project off the ground, it's not an albatross, but it takes a lot out of your emotions now that it's done and it's been shown, it's been seen. Season one, it's almost over. How do you feel?
Man, I feel great, man. All the reviews have been positive. The audience that has discovered it, seems to really dig it. I think it kind of has taken them a little bit by surprise, like how it's also for adults and not just for kids. So it's been really cool just getting it out there. I think we were a little behind the eight ball just in how long the short film was from now, because obviously there's some more like we have to recondition the audience, be like, oh, actually, remember that short from 3 years ago? Now it's a TV show. So that's been hard. And also, obviously, animation is so like clearly adult and kids. So trying to present something that's more in the middle and more co-viewing and for the family has definitely been a bit of a challenge. But everybody that's seen it has really dug it. And that's really all you can hope for.
Now, for those who are just going to catch up, because sometimes people wait till everything's over so they can binge watch everything all at
Yeah.
once.
Well,
Do you
that'll be
need to have seen Hair Love to catch season one to get references?
I mean, it doesn't hurt. We definitely put a lot of the backstory, references to the backstory already in there. Like the pilot, I think really you kind of get a clear sense of what Angela's kind of coming out of, going into the season, and obviously the whole family too. So, it definitely is a nice little cherry on top, but I don't think it necessarily is necessary to fully kind of get caught up because we state pretty plainly kind of what they're coming off of.
Mhm. And then as you were mapping out the episodes, obviously people are watching it to see, what themes are coming across per episode for the people, so that way they can see and relate to the characters, and it's not just viewed as another comic that we all grew up just watching anything on TV, and then you go outside, you get your day done.
Yeah, I mean, we just really try to make it kind of relevant to, topics that really will never go out of style. Obviously animation, you got like a 3 year lead time. So the things that we're writing about in 2020 have to be relevant in 2022 and 2023. So, the only way to really do that is just kind of focus on things that are universal. So, things like gentrification and imposter syndrome and, trying to find your purpose and, trying to become a boss and trying to live out your dreams and trying to be there for your family and you know all that is kind of the things that we try to center around on season one. And I think it helped us in that these topics did end up being a little bit more universal.
Between this and Hair Love, obviously it's a long time in the process. How much have you evolved as an animator, filmmaker?
Yeah, I think it's just having fun with the medium, knowing that it's very iterative and you have opportunities to really make sure that your writing is tight kind of from every angle. I mean, we were rewriting stuff up until we were, putting in those last edits. So it definitely helps you because you're able to really sit with it and kind of see how things are playing. I think still though, you're so close to it, I never really knew how this was going to get received. Like the tonally wise, I was kind of like, eh. I know it's probably a little different than people expect, but hopefully people are able to get into it. Thankfully they have, but it's just hard when you're like in the trenches for 3 years and then you're just like, all right, now it's out. You're like, I think people like it. I think it's good, but you just never know until you know.
That's the thing about animation is that, like as you mentioned before, things that change over time, and you want to make something that's timeless, so that
Yeah.
way you can watch it at any given time, any episode. As it is right now. When you're home. And not all of us are Surf Channel anymore. But when you have kids, and you have kids now, you have a kid now.
Yep.
You want to throw on something that they can just sit there and watch. And not pay attention. And so you want to see you want something that's just going to last, like a Woody Woodpecker. Nobody pays attention
Yeah.
to like plots when it just goes.
Yeah, honestly, like I don't think this will be probably in that same bucket just because obviously, cartoons that deal with animals obviously are just a different breed, like us dealing with like basically a black family, is very millennial and kind of very of the moment. I think hopefully it stands the test of time, but it also is like I think more in the moment than a lot of those traditional cartoons that you speak of. So, you know, you when you think about it, you kind of now you gotta, it's all black family, so people got to get past that. It's animated, people got to get past that instead of thinking it's just for the kids. So it's definitely a lot of things I think we're asking our audience to kind of come into and, give us their full attention. But, I do think that the writers and the whole collaborative team really did a great job in just like delivering.
Now you've got faces that we're all familiar with as doing the voices as opposed to regular animators. Like I just did the showrun of Jessica's Big Little World.
Yep.
And it's like, these there are people who do this for a living, and then
Hmm.
there's Issa Rae, and then there's so and so, and then so and so. You know, what was it like, asking them to come on board and use their voice?
Oh, it was dope, man. I mean, Issa was already a part of the short. And then just everybody had these various connections. Like, Scott Mescudi had worked with him when I was at Monkey Paw Productions, working with Jordan. And so we just were cool. And he's just everything that we wanted in Steven. He's from the Midwest, into music, young father. He just was perfect for the role. Great voice, loves animation. Loretta Devine is just like, if you're doing something black, man, and family, like, Loretta is probably the first person you're thinking of. She's just such a classic and just such an iconic person. And so to have her playing in animation was cool because it's something I know she hasn't really done a ton of. And she just really went for it. And then Harry Lennox, who is also from Chicago. It's very like, stately and very astute. And so it's fun getting him in there to play around a bit. Tamar Braxton, who was kind of newer into animation, was cool to get. And then, Brooke Conaway and Noah Cottrell, who plays Amir, there were only two kids in the whole main cast. Everybody else was played by young adults or adults. We also had some animation heavy hitters too, like Phil Lamar, Deborah Wilson, Lorena George, Nisa Ward, Michael Scott. So, we have a nice range of like kind of traditional actors like Shirley Ralph and Cassandra Freeman and everybody else that I mentioned. But then also we have, people that do VL for a living too. So it was really cool.
For the ones who are new, was it a new thing for them to get behind a booth and do the voices? A new experience for them?
Honestly, like everybody killed it. Like, like it really wasn't a hard ask because like, people are familiar with acting and they know the energy that they got to bring to things. So, I think the only big difference is that you're not able to stand around and really move the arms like how you normally would move them, like they're just sitting in a chair trying to convey that same emotion. So, everybody had their process. Some people stood up, some people sat down, like, but at the end of the day, I think they really delivered. And I think I love sharing is that none of them were ever in the room together because we did all this during COVID. So, all the chemistry that you hear kind of through the voices, feels like they all were sitting at the dinner table together. Like all those performances recorded individually and put together in post. And I just love how they came out. It really feels like they were all in the same room together.
Mhm. You came out doing music videos, then you
Yep.
did film. So music videos, shorts, films, animation.
Yep.
What's next for you?
I want to do it all, man. Got some documentary things that are in the works. Working on a couple musicals, both live action and animated. So yeah, man, I want to do it all, man. Like life is too short to be just kind of sitting in the same box. So, as soon as I, do something, I want to pivot and figure out the next thing.
True, but having spent 3 years on this now, and the process, you're a filmmaker who's done it all. You know, wanting to and You just mentioned documentaries. That takes a journey itself, whatever it
Yeah,
is.
for sure.
Research, editing, and all that.
Yeah.
So like, as
It's all
opposed to like,
filmmaking though. It's all
you know,
storytelling, like
every
I,
storyteller takes a while, but then I'm sure there are filmmakers out there like, I want to get something out next year.
yeah, I mean, look, nothing, nothing is going to take longer than animation does. So if you do that, like you're good. Ain't no, unless you just following somebody for the course of 4 or 5 years, like, even a documentary, you'd be in there 1 or 2 years tops. So still not 3 years like it was with Young Love. So I'm never concerned about the time of it all. It's just like, you want to make sure it comes out right at the end of the day. If you got to hold it back for a little longer to shoot some more or figure it out, you got to do what you got to do.
Mhm. What's going to attract people to watch Long Love? Max doesn't have like, I can't name 10 animated series on Max.
Uh-huh.
And so like, I'm gonna be honest with you, it's like I go there to see the other stuff that's going out
Right.
there. But we're in the market right now where there's a glut of product, which is good. Whether it's
Mhm.
streaming, in theaters, on TV. And people tell we're no longer channel surfing. We're basically
Yeah.
going to what we're being told about that's good.
Yep.
So what's going to entice people to catch Young Love if they've never heard of you?
No, I mean, look, you bring up a good point. Like, obviously Max is and HBO in general is just really known for like the more adult kind of, bigger budget, really kind of, edgier fare, right? So, asking them to come to Max to watch like, a family friendly, co-viewing animated series definitely is a tall task. But I think that was the cool thing about the thing that was part of the main appeal with Max, like we knew that they were interested in getting into more co-viewing stuff when it came to animation, things that were more for the whole family and not just one box or the other with adult and kid. And so, in a lot of ways, we're a bit of a trailblazer, for them kind of in this path, forging this new path forward, kind of with a more, relatable kind of just family friendly fare, in animation. So I think it's really cool, definitely a little nerve wracking just because, you don't really have much that you can point to and be like, hey, also check us out. We also here in the mix with the rest of this stuff. But Max and Warner Brothers in general is just known for animation, man. Looney Tunes, like, Cartoon Network, like, they have such an iconic roster of animated series. So, I think that also helps. But for us, the show is really just an extension of the short film. The same young millennial parents that you saw, they were trying to figure out how to do their daughter's hair are back, coming off this health scare and, really kind of attacking it head on. The whole season really that's looming in the background. It really is kind of Angela's trying to get past, this health scare. She's really every episode kind of is a different journey for her, just trying to find out what's her thing and her trying to make up for lost time. Steven had to take a year off of work, so he's a little bit behind the 8 ball, trying to get back into the music scene, and the sound is a little outdated now because he took time off and he's not able to really be in the clubs because he is a present father. So, him and then Zuri, man, she's just so like, we describe her as like just like an optimistic Diane from Blackish, just like a kid who sees the world, she sees a problem, she wants to try to figure it out and solve it, and she may not do it the right way because she's 6 years old, but she has a lot of love and a lot of confidence in her. And yeah, and it's just for the whole family. We got grandparents, we got grandkids, we got, millennial parents, and it's really for the whole family. And it was something that hopefully people really dig. And I think it stands on its own from the short too. Like definitely is an extension of it, but we definitely found a nice, unique tone for it. So, just hopefully people dig it, man. It's something for everybody.
Having said all of that, not to put any pressure on it, but do you have more stories to tell of this family that hopefully we'll get down the road?
Yeah, man. I mean, I definitely want to try to, a big thing I really want to figure out is like to do like a preschool spinoff, with Zuri, like one that is like more specifically for kids, but something that kind of centers around Zuri and her friends, a little bit more on the kiddier side of things, but something that kind of centers around her being in music class, like so many great music programs have been cut from public schools, and you don't really have that same music education that we had like back in the day. And so to have a show that I think that centers around like just learning music and how to play different instruments, I think could be really cool, a cool way to like put that education kind of back into people's households. And I think Zuri is so great, and I think the music is the big thing that people really have been loving about the show too. And so, I think we got a great team. Obviously, Amanda Jones, who was our composer, Taylor Graves, who does Steven's producing, Morgan Rose, who's our music supervisor. So, we got the talent. I think it's just, I think we definitely got a couple more stories to tell. And then we got a book.
That's what I'm saying. Once you get renewed, you got more ideas you can throw in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure. And then we got a book spinoff that's going to focus more on the moms and the sons to kind of be a compliment to Hair Love too. So.
Is there a date for the book?
Man, it's in process, but I don't have an official date yet, but within the next year or two.
Okay, we can be patient. We can
Yeah.
be patient, all good.
It takes long,
Well,
man.
Matthew, obviously it's always good talking to you. You making it happen. I'm always there for you from day one to now. So
yeah, man.
Keep it going. I got your back. So it's all a good product.
Yeah, man. I appreciate it, man. Yeah, man.
So
we try to represent for the culture, man. Show that relatable content.
All right, we'll talk down the road. Take care.
Thanks, man.